John and Rachel.
There you go.
Jagoff Late Night. And here we are, Alley 26, loving ourselves here in the North Shore. Obviously, pirates are hot, and so we love being down here to see everything that's going on.
Yeah, it kind of squashed us for parking tonight, but we get it.
I was avoiding that
part. But that's okay. We figured it out. We have like this little Tetris puzzle going on outside as far as people parking. So this is your Jagoff Late Night. We appreciate that you we either follow the podcast wherever you get podcasts, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the blog, wherever you want to get it. But the video goes up at 10 o'clock. It's your Jagoff Late Night. That's why. And then you'll hear it on the podcast feed for the rest of the week.
And speaking of the rest of the week, every Monday you do hear the podcast, and every Thursday we try to jag around with somebody unique to Pittsburgh. But on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have blog posts that are always about jags. But sometimes we're not calling out jags. We're familiarizing ourselves with jags. My absolute favorite video that we've ever done, thank you to Johnny, was the Irish Festival, not the Irish Festival, the Design Center.
Design Center, yeah.
Oh my gosh. First of all, we did not know where it was. It's an amazing place. You need to go see it. Oakland area, right?
It is Oakland, yeah.
Fantastic. We walked in, obviously of Irish descent. We loved it. But the video, you have to go watch it because you've never seen dance skills like John and I. Fair?
We started dancing. We said, hey, maybe we could do something with this. And Johnny got this evil look in his eye, like evil good, I got
yeah.
And next thing you know, there are some fake legs dancing underneath of us. So it's super cool.
So
make sure you go watch that video and learn about the Irish Design Center because to be honest with you, it's not just like a Christmas store or a place to go get shamrocks. It's really a place to go get things from Irish, including food, drinks, things like that. The other thing is that we posted a picture of a blocker, as we say, is that, this is a Pittsburgher who just decides to cut through the intersection when the light is yellow, and then they end up blocking the intersection from the people going through when it goes green for them because that driver thinks
was it you?
No, I took the picture, though. I'm proud to say that I took the picture.
You go through when it's orange.
But I don't sit there in the middle of the intersection like this Jagoff did.
Okay, gotcha. Right, Last but certainly not least, we would be remiss if we did not make some kind of a mention because we got to video it today, but you will see it hopefully next week. We did one of our G-Jet segments. Of course, you're used to seeing Monica and Tressa do the G-Jet segments, but we did one this week because the Women Who Rock series, as you saw, Melinda Calese was on performing 2 weeks ago. Phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. It's coming up on August the 28th, and we got to speak with the CEO of the Institute,
McGee Women's Institute.
Yeah.
It is
in his house. In his kitchen.
And he cooked us lunch, as a matter of fact. That's the G-Jet.
He just doesn't know we're going back every week.
That's right.
It's a phenomenal G-Jet. Kudos to him for all that he's doing and his team is doing for our city.
It's world-renowned, as we found out.
It was one of the best lunches. And listen, all you Italians out there, he did it al dente, and it was fabulous. And even made gluten-free
for me. And he
me.
doesn't use sugar in his sauce.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, my mom's going to text me.
Fireworks.
My mom's going to text me.
Might as well talk about politics.
Anyhow, we have a fantastic show lined up as usual. We're super stoked. John, you actually invited the folks from the HERE Foundation.
Yeah, got to give a shout out to Matt Dines, whose dad I was a paramedic with many years ago.
Yeah.
And Matt works at the HERE Foundation. He said, I'm going to get you Leon and Chris.
There you go. And Cathy Schlott is back from the Aviary, the one and only Aviary, and we are going to see what she is bringing. It's a surprise. We have not even seen yet. Okay. I mean, it was a surprise. You say I'm the one who does that kind of stuff. And last but certainly not least, one of our favorite journalists from around town, who is also a musician, Harry Funk, is going to catch up with us. He hasn't been on in almost 3 years. So stay with us on your Jagoff Late Night.
Next up is Mitch Minutes. He's talking about why you should live in Pittsburgh. Mitch Dugan, thing.
There's a lot of stuff to do in Pittsburgh. I mean, you can go to the wave pool, right? You can go swimming, you can go hiking. 3 reasons to visit Pittsburgh in the summer. Well, the Pirates, and lots of good concerts are coming. We got a lot of good stuff outdoors, hiking and biking downtown, canoeing, kayaking, Kennywood, we just had the Arts Festival. Juneteenth was here. I didn't get to go down for that. We were kind of busy. We had graduation parties. A lot of people are boating. Like this weekend, we were down on the north side, which is the North Shore, right, for all you younger people. Right, we had the Take Steps Crohn's Walk this past weekend, and we were down on the North Shore, and there was boats. We actually saw a sailboat sailing the rivers, which is like, how often do you see a sailboat on It was the Mon, and it was going up and down the Mon right by the point, which is pretty interesting. So boating's obviously big in Pittsburgh. We are one of the largest inland ports in America, which most people don't know. So there's a lot of travel for, that's why you see so many barges going up and down the river, because we're a large inland port in America. Look it up.
I've been thinking that Rohrich Automotive needs a new jingle.
Rohrich Automotive got the best cars around Pittsburgh.
Driving a Rohrich, I bought it at Rohrich. Picked up my new car at Rohrich Automotive. I got friends at Rohrich Automotive where the staff is nice and the dealership's loaded with brand new cars. And you can drive real far.
Mancini's Bakery, 97 years in business and still getting better. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you will see various Pittsburgh personalities like Gretchen McKay, Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes, KDKA's own Mary Hours, and WPXI's Jenna Harner, learning how to make the famous Italian twist bread. Follow Mancini Bakery on Instagram and Facebook, and remember to ask for Mancini's. John and Rachel, you Jagoff late night. You said start, and I started, but
yeah.
You actually know these folks, so you go right ahead.
Well, what's interesting is we kind of know their organization in that. So a guy that I used to be paramedics with years ago, Bruce Dines, his son Matt Dines works at the HERE Foundation. They moved back to town. And he says, hey, I can get you Leon and Cindy from the HERE Foundation. I'm like, dude, we already know about the HERE Foundation because we remember when it first began, thanks to when it was then Chief Schubert from the city of Pittsburgh, and they had gotten together to start this. So I won't even begin to describe how far you guys have come in just that short amount of time. So welcome, Cindy. Welcome, Leon. And I guess who wants to start with just the story, the background of the HERE Foundation at this point? Because I was gonna wear my shirt tonight, but I go, be careful. I don't want to make it look like I'm sucking up.
Yeah, I guess I can start with the background story, and Cindy could share a little bit more about her vision for the foundation. And so back in 2012, I was shot 5 times by a Pittsburgh police officer, and unfortunately I was paralyzed, and I was also charged. Went through a long criminal trial, had a civil trial, got heavy into activism and things like that. And there was a moment where I was attacking Chief Schubert and also former Mayor Bill Peduto on social media, and I had some really phenomenal mentors who kind of called me in and introduced me to them. And I had a meeting with former Mayor Peduto and also a meeting with Scott, and they became good friends of mine. My grandfather told me, he said, Leon, do you want to make a point or do you want to make a difference? And that was really what inspired me to lean into these relationships. And as I built a relationship with Scott Schubert, we were thinking about, like, how could we really make a difference? And, we had other people like Diana Bucco and Laura Ellsworth around us who kind of helped us, come up with the idea to start a foundation. And that's how the HERE Foundation came to be.
Wow. Yeah,
I love the fact that it's a personal anecdote and that you literally are showing how you learn from something like that. So that happens, and then what? How does Cindy come into play?
Yeah, so we had our founding executive director, Kamal Nigam. He helped us get things off the ground. He actually was on the founding team of Pittsburgh's Google office, right? So he started Pittsburgh's Google office. I believe he had 3 employees and grew it to about 700 employees, retired, and we were able to convince him to come, help launch the foundation. Well, it got to a point where we were ready to grow, and he just, couldn't commit to a full-time job, and so we put out a search, and I was fortunate enough to connect with Cindy, and so they sent me the top 3 candidates. When I, saw Cindy and her name and talked to her on the phone, I was like, Cindy's the person. and so she came on full time in January, and we've just been rocking and rolling ever since.
That's awesome. Wow, what nice things to say, right?
Know.
Yeah.
It's all about hope, and it's about trust. How could I walk away from Leon? No way.
Right. So how were you explain the story? Pretty much the same way?
That's the background for sure. But where we are now is strategically thinking, where do we go next? So part of that is creating impact grants, and Leon can talk about some of them, but how do we get to kids as young as possible? And it's usually through music or through sports. And so some of the impact grants we're focused on right now, we've launched 2 very recently. One is called 412 Boxing Cops and Corners. Everything we do involves the city of Pittsburgh residents in some way converging with local police. It really is not about fun things that we do separately. It's about that marriage and partnership. So Cops and Corners, it's what the name implies. Police officers, law enforcement folks that aren't actually police officers, but security officers, state troopers are involved, and they mentor and they coach kids in boxing. And we're so proud to say that last week we celebrated that 6 of the 10 top junior Olympic boxers with USA Boxing is from 312 boxing gym, which is in Pittsburgh. It's by Chinatown Inn. You may have even seen it by Subway.
I know exactly where that is. Yeah. I know nothing, and I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, and think about it. These kids deserve positive attention.
Right.
That's something.
Wow.
And that's just one of the programs. And again, about sports, and it's males and females. But we also have the program that's about to start in September, which is more about golf. And that's the First Tee. The First Tee is in Shenley Park. Eric Amato runs it. And that is going to be learning more not only about golf, but about caddying. How do you become a gig worker, so to speak, have a secondary income? One way for older kids is to be a caddy. And Oakmont Country Club has agreed to hire these kids as such. So that's one way. Basketball. So we're just going one sport after another. Basketball is called Refs and Rooks. And the police chief in the city of Pittsburgh has agreed to volunteer to be a part of this program so that he can support kids being certified as actual referees. Again, part of it is making money. So our goal is to make money to give it away. So we get money through many different ways, but our sense is it's not just grants and these things that we do, it's having convenings. That's why I gave you that one little flyer that John's holding in his hand right there. It's #It'sNeeded conference. Thanks for putting that front and center. And Leon can talk a great deal about that because these folks are national subject matter experts that are coming to Pittsburgh. We hope the 2 of you will come too.
Yeah,
do you
when
want
is
to
that?
I
didn't get the flyer, Cindy, so you need to.
Oops.
They knew I could hold it. I'm the closest to
He's the better holder.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of them over there.
You're fine.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine is an officer in LA. His name is Ryan Tillman.
Okay.
He started an organization called Breaking Barriers United, where he would make these social media posts breaking down use of force incidents and things like that from a trained police officer, and he then started the It's Needed conference, where he would have these really, really powerful discussions and have subject matter experts talk about use of force and different things like that. So
is this a national thing, or
it's a national thing?
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to the It's Needed conference earlier this year in Dallas, Texas, and I was like, we have to bring this to Pittsburgh. And so we were able to partner with Duquesne University, who offered us some space there. Ryan's coming. We have some state police officers who, will talk about use of force and recruitment and different things like that. We'll have some community leaders talk about their perspective of law enforcement, their personal experiences, what they would like to see, from law enforcement. And ultimately, we want to bring the community together to figure out how do we heal and reconcile, right? And how do we ensure that our city is, more safe for everyone?
And I guess healing and reconciling leads to prevention at that point, right? So we don't have to heal and reconcile so much. I guess, I think of like the arguments that people have on Facebook about politics or about I'm mad at my neighbor doesn't cut their grass and all these little arguments. think of the differences that you and Scott had, and that you still had the ability to sit and listen to each other and kind of work that out. You know,
such a good point. But I was going to say, and to continue through, the regime changed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so what I see, you know, as a positive is that I'm sure you were kind of like, I don't know what happens whenever somebody new comes in, right? Was that something you thought? I don't know. I would.
Actually, my commitment to the work is, you know,
Sure.
It's like, and so when
it doesn't matter who it is, you would have made
so
it work.
when Scott was talking about leaving, we were already planning for like, okay, how do we build relationships with all of the zone commanders? How do we build a relationship with whoever the new police chief is going to be? And in fact, like on Wednesday, Cindy and I, you know, we were at Zone 1 police station. We went to roll call at 7 a.m. and also at 4:30 p.m. And so we will be going to every zone, having discussions around our work. We will be talking about our new project, Pittsburgh Police Cares, right? And then, you know, there's a few other projects that we're working on, but we're really trying to be intentional about building relationships with law enforcement, letting them know where we stand, and we're all about healing and reconciliation, right? And we view them as partners. So, you know, and, you know, with my story, sometimes there's this assumption that I don't like police officers when sure. That's not the case, right? Like, you know, again, I'm committed to my mission, and it's all about leading with love and bridging the gap.
The other word that is so important is authenticity.
Sure.
You have to be real, and that's a part of being at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Real and speaking from your heart. It's not hoity-toity. It's raw, and it's there to build trust.
Yeah.
And it only happens through exposure, meeting people, talking to people, experiencing things together. That is why we're making this effort to get up at 5, on the road at 6, and we're sitting there at 7 a.m.
That's amazing.
And we work the full 12-hour.
That's commitment, for
we
sure.
work the 12-hour shift so that we can see them at the end at 4:30.
That's awesome.
Wow. Where does everybody find out more about everything that you guys are doing?
Yeah. The website, it is being constructed right now. So we've moved from it's .com to .org. So there is some shifting happening there. But the website does have stories about what we've been doing lately on the front page.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there opportunity for volunteers, or how do you kind of recruit for others?
Well, that's a good point.
Good question. Say that's a good question.
That's a good question.
No, see, that's a competition we have.
You're so on top of it. But I was actually thinking about how we recruit young people to be interested in police work. Why I'm bringing this up? Because it's a segue. We're on our way to the Noble Conference, a national organization for black law enforcement.
Okay.
We're taking 5 kids with us who think they might want to be a Pittsburgh police cop when they get out of high school. So we're starting young. So we're actually on the recruitment end of who is going into the police academy when they're in their 20s. They got to be prepared now to think that that's even possible. Right. And that's going to make a difference. But we really don't have a large to get back to your real question, we don't really have a large volunteer base. What we really need now is individual volunteers to help us when we're doing festivals, fairs, tabling. We do a lot of that, whether it's a barbecue, a community picnic, or an observation, or most recently it was a mental health walk that Leon was involved in at a tabling event. That way we can give out business cards, and some of the gifts that we brought for John, we have those same things for people, such as ball caps and, in that case, mugs filled with candy.
That's wonderful. Okay.
So again, we appreciate you guys, all the work you're doing. Please come back and tell us how things go.
We need updates for
But
sure.
in the meantime, we have a question of the day that everybody has to answer, right?
If you were listening at the top of the hour, right, we were talking about, we went to McGee Women's Institute, who is the world renowned in finding good research out for women's health. And so we were actually at the CEO's. We have some good stories to tell, right? And he used leftovers to talk about recipes that he can use from corn and steak and things like that. So we were like, my kids are bougie and they do not like leftovers. What is the one thing that you will always eat leftover? I love that you're seriously
pizza because we have it almost every day.
Oh,
we have so many pizza parties, whether it's for the kids or for the cops.
Yeah, like my kids literally will not.
Pizza's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a double?
Yeah.
All right. Pizza. Check. All right. Fine.
All right.
And we understand that you have a junk drawer gift.
Yep. I have one that you can keep, John.
Right.
It's here. It's the Here Mug.
Here, I'll hold
I
it up.
love it.
And it's our official color.
John doesn't drink coffee, so I'll make sure I use it.
Well, he can have the candy. There you go.
It's an
You can even see
Steven.
that logo on Leon's shirt.
I love that.
And this is not junk, but I do want to show it to you because in the memo it says
I love the
something-
show and tell, yeah.
something that means something to you. This is, maybe you don't know what this is. It's not Pittsburghese. It is a kachina from when I lived on the Navajo reservation.
Oh, wow.
So I was living outside of Gallup, New Mexico in Fort Defiance, and this one is called Hoop Dancer or Circles of Life. So I have a lot of these in my home. I brought them back with me.
Is it like good luck? Good.
It's almost a religious icon in their faith. And there would be one for the sun, the moon, the stars. This is for the circle of life. And circles are important to us. We literally have healing circles, which really means support groups, helping each
I love
other.
that.
Yeah.
That's such a good
So I
symbolic-
wanted to think
Yeah.
about
If
Thank
you're
you.
listening to the audio version, make sure you go watch the video and see the pictures because that is super cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you both so much for coming
really
here.
appreciate
you
it.
braved the
Thanks
traffic
for
for a
having
pirate
us.
game, and we appreciate
It's
it.
all good.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having us.
And we will definitely make it worth your while because next up we are talking to our friend Cathy from the National Aviary. So stick around.
Welcome to Fanatic. Can I take your orders?
You need a tap it?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich to cook. Here we go.
Thank you, Tony.
Anytime.
Dig in.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from People's Gas. Hey guys.
Hey, it's that time of year again when homeowners are going to start those outdoor projects. So what we need you to know is please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project like a pool or a new garage or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
PittsburghUsedCars.com. With hundreds of used cars across 8 dealerships throughout the city, we provide the greater Pittsburgh area with a premium used car buying experience. Looking for unbeatable pricing on some of the best used cars in Pittsburgh? Visit Pittsburgh Used Cars Clearance Zone today. We're providing out-the-door pricing on all of our clearance zone inventory. PittsburghUsedCars.com.
I'm here with Matt Cunningham. Matt, what is your actual title?
So I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation here at North Strabane Township.
Okay, so you're like the Leslie Knope of North Strabane.
You could say that. I prefer on Swanson, but yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Too. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about North Strabane and why everyone should be coming out to the community here.
Yeah, so we have a great park here that has great facilities, ballparks, pavilions. We have a concession stand that's open here daily. And we have great events as well. One of them coming up in a couple weeks here, Community Day.
I'm going to be hosting. I'm very excited about that. Tell us a little bit more about Community Day and what's going to be going on. What could we be seeing, doing, eating there?
Yeah, it's going to be a great event, and we're happy to have you this year. So, yeah, there's all kind of great activities for everybody. There'll be live music. It's going to be highlighted with Johnny Angel and the Halos, which everybody in the area is familiar with. So it should be a great event. We'll have a ton of kids activities. So there's inflatables, bounce houses, face painters, balloon artists, you name it, we have it.
Welcome to Fanatic. Can I take your orders?
You need a tap it?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich to cook. Here we go.
Thank you, Tony.
Anytime.
Dig in.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from People's Gas. Hey guys.
Hey, it's that time of year again when homeowners are going to start those outdoor projects. So what we need you to know is please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project like a pool or a new garage or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
It's John and Rachel, your Jagoff Late Night. And who is on? That was such a dad joke, and I apologize for it. Cathy Schlott from the National Aviary, because we're not just the Aviary. We are the Aviary. We're the Aviary.
Exactly. We are the National Aviary.
Right. It's super cool. So you have elevated our level of production here because you now bring us animals. Like it's the old like Johnny Carson stuff kind of thing. And we're never to be upstaged by an animal, but always upstaged by
We literally
Cathy.
pick our location of choice based around the National Aviary. Like we were like, let's move to the North Shore just so we can be around you.
Well, how can you not want to be around animals like this northern white-faced owl?
Well, you know, I have a little fear. We've discussed this before.
I know,
but
and
this
you
is
have
a little
yet
guy
to come hang out with me.
I know.
Do you see the fear that goes into her face when we stop at the
I know.
Aviary?
I'm going to be more forceful with you next, Rachel. I'm going to make you come. Instead of nudging you, I'm going to call you and be like, you come to the Aviary.
Well, that is fine because obviously you have a lot to talk about. There's a ton of things that are happening that we need to go through. But right now, tell us about why we #love the glove.
Oh,
boom.
nice.
You cannot steal that marketing.
Yeah.
You cannot. So who do we have?
We have a northern white-faced owl. This owl just came to the aviary in the spring.
Okay.
And this is one of our new ambassador animals. So it's a bird that's going to go out, visit guests that come into the aviary, do owl encounters, go to classes, programs. So it's going to be able to teach people all about owls.
Look, and are you about to feed it?
When you brought the owl, and again,
treat.
if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you go look at the pictures in the video because when you brought the owl out, we all said, "Oh my God, so cute, so little," and you're like full size, full grown, right?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is as big as this owl's going to get. There are all different sizes of owls, from little pygmy owls to the Eurasian eagle owl, which is one of the largest species of owls. And they all have a different job or niche in where they live. So northern white-faced owls are found in Africa, and they're going to eat a lot of insects, large insects, small rodents. That's what their job is, to help with the rodent and insect control.
He actually looks...
It's a him.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually looks like X the Owl to me. You know what I mean? X the Owl from Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers' name.
You know?
When you said that, I just think of, I have an owl at the National Aviary named X.
Oh, okay.
After that.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers.
But to me, when I look,
Yeah.
it looks like the X, but it's not X. As a matter of fact, it's not Twitter either. Get that. Anyway, so what happens with the owl here? You take them out like here to classes. Can schools sign up to have them visit?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do a lot of educational programming. In fact, we're going to have our forest our theme season coming up at September 4th, and Forest is sponsored by Peoples, and people are going to be able to come to National Aviary and meet birds like this northern white-faced owl here. And we have a lot of...
Yes.
Nice.
We're giggling, folks, because there's something we can't say.
Yeah.
And one of the new daily activities, in fact, is come and meet a bird of prey. Because we have a lot of amazing birds of prey at the National Aviary, and they all utilize forests in different ways. So you're going to be able to come learn how important forests are, tropical rainforest, the deciduous forest. There's different forests all around the world. You're going to learn about the different types and learn about why they are so important to us, and all about the biodiversity that resides in the forest.
Are there owls that are indigenous to the Western Pennsylvania area?
Good question.
Yes, great question. We have...
Cathy, it wasn't great.
1-1.
It was fine.
1-1 now.
It was fine.
We have eastern screech owls, barred owls, barn owls. We have great horned owls. We have several different owl species that are native and found around here. And interesting enough, the northern white-faced owl shares kind of the same biological niche that our eastern screech owls share in Pennsylvania. They eat the same things. They are both cavity nesters. They share a lot of the same niches. So it's kind of cool.
When you bring us different animals, which we're so grateful for, of course, but I have responded differently, but this particular animal seems very content. I love the eating. Hysterical. Is that common? Like, it seems like he's anxious. Is that sort of how they eat? All of them?
So when you see him doing that, owls are farsighted.
Oh.
So they can see clear farther
He looked right
away.
at me like, got it.
And when I'm moving the food closer to him, he's feeling for it because it gets blurry. And if you look, he has all those little feathers around his beak, and that also is to help him feel because he's not so good at seeing that close.
Okay.
So that's what that behavior is.
You always do such a good job of sort of, layman term explaining like the different care of each of the animals and how different they are. What is it about this particular animal that you do differently? What's like a typical routine?
Well, for all of our birds, we come in, we say good morning, we check on everyone, and then we give them all really nutritious diets. We cut them into snacks sometimes or give them their morning breakfast. For him, he's going to come do all of those things, and then he's going to do an educational programming or a daily talk.
Sure.
But we do a lot of positive reinforcement training with all of our animals. So we give them different treats and snacks for coming out, seeing people, or for different behaviors that are behind the scenes. So we want our animals to participate in their own care. So things like if they need a nail trim or something like that, or if they need to go into a travel carrier, so that way for their veterinarian checkups they know to go in their travel carrier, and it's a nice experience for when these things. Some of them we even have trained to do like voluntary injections, so like when they have to get their annual shots, they do it voluntarily. We do a lot of really cool training with our animals to get them to participate in their own care.
I'm so content.
Yeah. Here's my dumb question is
normal.
where do wise old owl, where does that phrase come from? I'm hoping somebody's asked that, and I'm not putting you on the spot.
I hope you don't know, because this does not fall into your...
Like, why?
But I do know.
Why are they known as
Kathy.
wise? Are they really that smart?
No, but it comes from the Greek goddess Athena. She was always seen with an owl. And owls they're not smart in the way people think of intelligence, because their eyes are so large to be able to be effective hunters and to be able to see at night that they take up most of the room in their heads. So they have smallish brains. But owls have such amazing adaptations to make up for that. So that's okay. They have those talents to be able to grab their food and find their food. They have tearing beaks. They have eyes, again, that can see great distances. Their hearing is amazing. Everyone thinks those little feather tufts are their ears, but in fact, their ears are on the sides of their heads, underneath their feathers. And one is up higher and one is down lower, and they can triangulate and pinpoint exactly where their prey is crawling. They have silent flight so they can sneak up on their food.
I knew that.
So they can hunt with 95% accuracy.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're really good at what they need to be good at. So they don't need to have the brains that like a parrot has, because it lives a different lifestyle.
The next time Rachel says, John, you have big eyes, really big eyes, I know what she's talking about. It's small brain. Small brain. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So you talk a little bit about colors. I'm looking at my notes because Tressa does such a great job, but you have a couple of programs that are happening. And the 10th and the 17th, you have still summer camps going on?
We have adult summer camps going on the 10th and 17th.
I love that. And what does that entail?
Well, everyone always says like, oh, look at the kids. I wish I could do that. So we're like, why can't you?
So smart.
Yep. So people can come. They can get behind the scenes a little bit, see what we do at the aviary, meet some of our avian ambassadors, and just have like a really fun day of activities.
That is
with
so
other
smart.
adults.
Yeah. So how does it sort of differ from a day-to-day visit? Because if you're there, you're not really taking them behind the scenes interactively, right?
Yes. And you're going into a classroom, you're having like little mini meet and greets and lectures, and it's like being at camp. It's a day of camp activities, which is really fun. And speaking of classes, we have a bunch of things. If you're into the outdoors too, we have a lot of cool programming coming up with our forest theme. We have owl prowls. I'm leading one on October 4th.
Oh my God. And what
so
is
you
that?
can see some of our native species of owls at night. You can come out at night with us and we'll call in owls.
Are you inviting us? I feel like that was just an invite.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Kathy, that is how I break my fear.
We're going to make this happen. Okay. All right.
My gosh, this is going to be fun. Like, we have to literally wear like glasses or something
to
be able to see at night better.
On October 4th. Write it on your calendars now.
Okay. October 4th.
I'll give you details
and something
later.
with the penguins
That's
is
a
coming
Friday.
up as well, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's a Friday.
That's a Friday, October 4th, I believe. No?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
No sleeping over, though, correct?
No, but we're going to go
John
out
loves
in the
sleepovers.
woods and look for some owls.
All right. Is there
Love
something
this.
we wanted to mention about the penguins as well?
Oh, we have African Penguin Awareness Day in October.
Okay.
And so that is focused all about our African penguins. You learn about them, learn about how you can help us stop them from becoming extinct. So that is a very important day. And we have Halloween on the other weekends in October. We have so much fun stuff coming up.
This stuff.
I love it. I love whenever you can theme it. So Halloween is a great fun-filled day. We take Halloween and we make it owl-focused activities. So you can come and you trick-or-treat throughout the aviary. We have owl meet and greets throughout the day. This bird is the face of Halloween. You're going to see him on why wouldn't it be?
I know, look how adorable it is.
Gorgeous. Absolutely.
Kathy, where does everybody find out about all the things going on at the National Aviary?
At aviary.org. Check out our website. You can sign up for classes, programs, everything.
Did you bring this owl as our junk drawer gift?
Well,
so the owl's not staying with us.
The owl's not staying with you, but I have a fun junk drawer gift.
What is that? Because you are good at bringing good junk drawer gifts. Oh boy.
All right. So I have to explain this because yes, I bring weird junk drawer gifts.
I love it. Okay.
So
it says Milton. Is that what it says?
Yep.
All of our African penguins wear name bands, so that way our guests can tell them apart. And so that is a sample of an African penguin name band.
Look at you. I mean, you just never disappoint ever. Seriously.
And I have never given those to anyone else. So it is very special.
There you go.
I really do. But I love the fact that we're coming there now in October so that I'm going to break my fear. I have to do it.
You have
to. I trust you.
We have to do our question of the day. What do you like as leftovers?
Oh, I'm a bit...
Oh boy.
Well, it's just the fact that we talk a lot about sustainability at the National Aviary and how important it is to the environment to eat your leftovers.
I need to tell my kids that.
Reduce waste.
Nice.
So I eat all of my leftovers.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Cold or hot?
Well, it depends on the item.
Okay. Me, cold always.
John doesn't even take the time to heat anything up.
We so appreciate that you came here today for the podcast. And we have some music coming up. Real name, Harry Funk.
I love that someone even asked him that while we were getting ready for the show.
Jagoff late night.
I've been thinking that Rohrich Automotive needs a new jingle.
Rohrich Automotive got the best cars around Pittsburgh.
Driving a Rohrich, I bought it at Rohrich. Picked up my new car at Rohrich Automotive. I got friends at Rohrich Automotive where the staff is nice and the dealership's loaded with brand new cars. And you can drive real far.
Mancini's Bakery, 97 years in business and still getting better. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you will see various Pittsburgh personalities like Gretchen McKay, Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes, KDKA's own Mary Hours, and WPXI's Jenna Harner, learning how to make the famous Italian twist bread. Follow Mancini Bakery on Instagram and Facebook, and remember to ask for Mancini's.
Welcome to Flanagan. I take your orders.
You need a tappet?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich to cook. Here we go.
Thank you, Tony.
Anytime.
Let's dig in.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from People's Gas. Hey, guys.
Hey, it's that time of year again when homeowners are going to start those outdoor projects. So what we need you to know is please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project like a pool or a new garage or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
PittsburghUsedCars.com, with hundreds of used cars across 8 dealerships throughout the city. We provide the greater Pittsburgh area with a premium used car buying experience. Looking for unbeatable pricing on some of the best used cars in Pittsburgh? Visit Pittsburgh Used Cars Clearance Zone today. We're providing out-the-door pricing on all of our clearance zone inventory. PittsburghUsedCars.com.
John and Rachel, you Jagoff late night. We had an owl here and we had the Here Foundation here. Mm-hmm. And listen, it's super cool that we have Harry Funk here. Again, real name, Harry Funk. You've been on the podcast. We were at the Daffodil Farm the last time
we were just talking about
right?
that.
Yeah,
coming out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah. You were way over here, and I was way over there, and it worked out just fine.
Yeah. It
was
was
a nice
fantastic.
Spring day, a little cool. I had my leather jacket on, like the fawns. And no, that was very enjoyable. I liked that. And Doug Oster gave us a good education.
I was just going to say,
kind of like Cathy did, only with not owls.
Right, exactly. And Doug is always such a gem as a subject matter expert when it comes to any kind of plants. I mean, anywhere you go, he does that even through a show. You can send him something and say, what is this? And he gives advice. It's fantastic.
He appears a lot of the shows that the gardeners, master gardeners have and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, awesome. And he is also a North Hillian, and that is something that you cover. So what I love is that I talk about this all the time. Journalism is my jam. I love writers. I have such a deep appreciation for people who are still in newspapers. And we've known you since you were at the Almanac. So give us a little bit of history, because now you're at the North Journal. What has it been like for you? We talked a little bit about this 3+ years ago, but now journalism has changed even more.
Well, let's see. When I started as a professional on July 3rd, 1985.
Wow.
I'd been to a Grateful Dead concert the night before at the Civic Arena, but, kept it cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the time, we had typewriters. The thought of computers was, wow, that would be something really cool, but we don't know when we'll get them. There was no internet. You had to call people. Today, I'll tell you what, internet's changed everything for, newspapers. Let's just say it's different, but it's really nice because you can look up. I don't have to go in and ask a whole bunch of questions. I'll look up background on everyone, and they'll be like, wow, you did your homework. I'll be like,
yeah. Well, and that's a great point. So the efficiency, I'm sorry, were you going to say something? Efficiency certainly is a reason, but how did you sort of do your research or your backlogging beforehand?
Oh, my. Well, we had an archive of newspapers that, were actual bound volumes in the newspaper you had to dig through. If you want the background on John Doe, who ran for town council in 1981, you had to go look up all his information. Maybe somebody had a file, they kept that in, but, today, I'll tell you what, it's great, too, if somebody has a name like Rachel with an extra letter.
Exactly.
Copy and paste Rachel with an extra A and Rennebeck, and you can make sure you get it right. Exactly. Or Chamberlain without that A at the end, like Richards. So it's very convenient for that.
What were computers looked at? Were they looked at as a threat to reporters and writers in the day? Because now we're seeing AI as a potential threat, but it also could be an assistance device. Well, what were computers viewed as that, like AI is today?
Well, when our first computers were basically word processors. So, it was more convenient than a typewriter because we had to use whiteout and correction tape. So you could just, it had spell check. It was like glorious. And it wasn't until, let me think, about the mid-90s, 95 or 96, I remember somebody saying, one of these days you'll be at a football game covering it. You'll be able to take a picture, and then you can send it out, and people can see it, right there. And I'm like, why? Why would you want to do that? Because, high school football, if you're at the game. But, of course, I was wrong. And the event, I remember, opening my eyes was, September 11th, 2001. But we're scrambling for the next day's newspaper. Meanwhile, you look on Yahoo, and they already have all these, covering it right there and then. Right. And I'm like, uh-oh. But we adapted, at least I have.
And I think that's part of it. It isn't that life. Whether you're a musician and technology, whether you're a radio person and going into podcasting. Everybody has to be flexible, right? You have to. It's either, what is that, the line? Either you can't beat them, you join them, right? And so I think it's cool that you remain relevant, knowing that you've been through those processes.
We tried. These days, and I enjoy this, like community news, what people are doing. Did some nice stuff at North Hills High School before it let out, for example. And,
Suck up.
Plan on returning
because Rachel's on the school board. You know that, Harry.
I'm well aware of that. I'll give a shout out to the Heather, the communications.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She really is. Yes.
Yeah, she does a very good job.
But we'll use that as an example. But we can also use like North Allegheny or Hampton or out my way, Bethel Park. But it's stuff that's going on in the community that isn't real. I don't want to see that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now you're here actually as our music guest.
Oh, wow.
And the last time, like we said, you were here as, talking about the face of journalism and enjoying what the Daffodil Place was like and all those good things. And obviously catching up with you is always a pleasure. But when did the music piece start? Is this something that you just, and I know you touched upon it, but.
Well, I was talking to Johnny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Johnny.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting older. I used to remember.
You're fine.
Basically, I really loved music when I was young. I had piano lessons for a few years, but teenage boys or whatever, don't really want to do that. You want to
Neither did teenage girls.
Run around but I learned a little bit of fundamentals. I was telling him I really want to learn to play guitar. I like this band called the Grateful Dead. Jerry's birthday was yesterday.
Third mention of the Grateful Dead. Wow. Okay.
And I bought a Grateful Dead songbook that showed you the chord tabs, and so I taught myself where to put the fingers and how to. And that was, 40-some years ago. So I just kept playing, and I had no clue as to how to sing. I probably still don't, but I'd play with other people. They'd forget the lyrics. This is back before you could look them up online. You had to listen to the records.
Right.
You might get a few of them wrong, but I'd remember those, so I started singing along, and I was about 40 maybe. I'm like, I'm old enough I can go out in front of people and not care what they think.
That's it. That's it.
There you go, Harry. We're going to have you sing or play music. In the meantime, first of all, what is your go-to leftover food item? What will you definitely eat as a food item?
Oh, well, cold pizza.
Cold pizza?
I'll have to throw a caveat in. We my wife and I went plant-based vegan right before the pandemic. So it would be cold pizza from, there's a certain restaurant that makes a really good vegan pizza.
Okay.
Fake vegan cheese.
Rachel's
still
in there.
tastes
I'm in.
well.
I'm in.
And did you bring us something for our junk drawer?
I did. And it's right in my pocket.
Okay.
Now this...
Oh, the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Here you go.
Here on the camera.
I'll tell you about this.
Okay.
This, way back when, kids, there were these things called records. They were 12 inches wide, and the album covers would come with all kinds of neat stuff. This is an album called Billion Dollar Babies by Alice Cooper. It came with a whole bunch. There was a, $1 billion bill and a bunch of stuff you can cut out. One of which was that little weird-looking baby there. So, I got it when I was a teenager. I put up posters everywhere in my parents' basement. And I put up that little thing on the top of the paneling in the basement. And that was the last thing of mine that was at their house. It was still there when I sold it 2 years ago. It was still in that basement for 45 years. The tape there... It's the Scotch tapes from 1977, so I don't think it still sticks to much. But I thought that'd be kind of cool.
That is the best yet.
Very fun.
That
You're
has
gonna
such
sing
good
for us,
meaning.
right? You're going to sing for us?
I can.
All right.
Try.
We're going to get a little 4-1-2-do action from Jack next.
Hi, my name is Jack Doherty. I'm with the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, and I am here to tell you the 4-1-2-dos for this month. So, Picklesburgh is over. The Pickle Party has officially happened. It was a fantastic weekend. We welcomed record attendance, over 250,000 people over 4 days for a fantastic festival. It was a ton of fun, but there is still plenty of reasons to come downtown, spend the rest of your summer downtown. We have lots of activations, and I currently am actually up here on the roof of Etage, which is one of our great gyms here in downtown Pittsburgh. On this roof, they've got giant chests, they've got a basketball court, they've got some tables and chairs just to relax and enjoy this fantastic view. And the best part is they are the newest member of our Downtown Edge card program. So with this card, you are able to get a reduced membership at Etage monthly rate, along with a free personal training session once a month. It's a deal you're not going to be able to beat anywhere else. And that's not all. With this card, you also gain access to deals and perks at over 25 participating downtown businesses, restaurants, retailers, gyms. This card can be picked up at our office at 307 4th, as well as right here in Etage at the front desk, or you can email us and get your Edge card today. It's a great program, and stay tuned for more deals moving forward. For the rest of the summer, we are activating Market Square and Mellon Square daily. There's the farmers market on Thursdays, there's night markets on weekends, and in Mellon Square we've got some really interesting programs. There's a meditation class that happens over the lunch hour on Tuesdays every week. There is salsa dancing in the evening on Wednesdays, and then in Market Square we're also bringing a game night. So think karaoke, think bingo, all of that, right here in downtown Pittsburgh. Pickle party's over, but that's not a reason not to come down. We can't wait to see you for the rest of the summer, and until next time, see you downtown.
Alrighty, I'm going to play a song I wrote, well, I think it was 20 years ago, based on two experiences I had at well, they're probably out of business by now. But sometimes, and I get great service most of the time everywhere. Occasionally I don't, and I wrote this song. It's Funny with the Money. Hey, you got to have a catchy title. I thought it would be a classy affair, invited my baby to go with me there. We looked around, I said, what do you think? She told me, well, I need a drink. The waitress, she took her mighty sweet time, taking my order for one glass of wine. Half hour later, she brought me 2 cups and told me that it'd be $30. I gave her a 50, she walked away. I thought some change would be coming my way. Later than sooner I realized then I wouldn't be seeing that waitress again. It's good work if you can get it. It's a good lesson you can learn. Pocketing other people's cash that you didn't even earn. I sat down at the bar to check out a band. Had a couple of Hamiltons in my hand. Paid $9 for some alcohol and got $1 back, and yes, that was all. I set my other 10 down on the bar. I turned to watch some guys playing guitar. Turned back around and in front of me were just 2 shingles and no more to see. Hey, what's the deal? I only drank 1, her charging me double. Ain't a whole lot of fun. Just when I thought, man, this really sucks, that barmaid grabbed those last $2. It's good work if you can get it. It's a good lesson you can learn. Charging other people's cash that you didn't even earn. It's good work if you can get it. It's a good lesson you can learn. Pocketing other people's cash that you didn't even earn.
That was
Dennis,
awesome.
Right? That,
well, my buddy said it sounds like Jimmy Buffett.
I was going to say
it's
Jimmy
a good
Buffett,
time.
yes.
man, but your voice has a Grateful Dead sound to it.
Oh, well, thanks.
I saw teddy bears dancing somewhere while you were singing. Yeah,
like this.
I love it. Yes, that's exactly it.
That sun's out, guns out.
So thank you so much to Harry Funk. We always appreciate him coming on and chatting up with us. And thank you so much to the National Aviary. Please go check out all of their great programming throughout the summer and into the fall. And you might see us in I promised.
Yeah.
October for sure. And thank you to John Chamberlain for introducing us to the folks at the Here Foundation.
Well, thank you to Cindy and Leon for making the trip in here. It was, it's crazy just to hear, again, all the trials and tribulations you might have, and somehow those two people made it work out.
Yeah,
they sat and talked after something big like that.
Another great podcast with a special thanks to Monica, Johnny, Tracy, and Michaela. We have some news of what's happening next, so make sure you're following along, and we can't wait to see you on the next Jagoff Late Night.